confirmed number of coronavirus cases in Los Angeles County comes to 1,214,683. The confirmed number of deaths reaches 22,806. Here in Torrance, the total number of confirmed cases is 6,959, with total confirmed deaths at 191. We anticipate those numbers to increase as the county updates its last 24-hour operating period. Welcome to COVID-19 Today. I'm Rhiannon Trutanich. It's 4 p.m. on Tuesday, March 23rd. Daily coronavirus cases continue to trend downward at levels seen early in the pandemic. While Los Angeles County Public Health Director Dr. Barbara Ferrer says this is good news, she warns of a potential rise in COVID-19 cases if the public lets their guard down when it comes to safety precautions. Ferrer said that in places like Michigan, they've surged to 3,000 daily cases recently, which gives her cause for concern as what's happening around the country or the rest of the world is likely going to impact the Los Angeles region at some point. She also continued to say the UK variant is also circulating in places like Michigan and Florida, but not in California. Instead, the variant circulating here is called the California variant and has been labeled as highly infectious. Officials say the best way to stop a variant is by stopping transmission, which means avoiding gatherings in large groups, wearing masks when out in public, washing hands often, and staying home whenever possible, despite all of the recent restrictions that have been lifted. According to data, 21 states in the U.S. are now experiencing spikes in daily infections. Officials are urging the public to act with caution and remember to stay vigilant. As more Americans become vaccinated, the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention released new guidelines. The CDC now says that fully vaccinated persons can hang out with one unvaccinated household of low-risk family members and friends at a time. Now, to clarify, someone is considered fully vaccinated after 2 weeks of receiving the second dose of a 2-dose series or 2 weeks after getting the single-dose Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Now, for those who are fully vaccinated, the CDC says it is considered a low-risk activity to gather indoors with other fully vaccinated people without wearing a mask, or gather indoors with one other household of unvaccinated people without wearing masks if they are considered low risk. And if you've been around someone who was diagnosed with COVID recently and you are fully vaccinated, you do not need to quarantine or get tested unless you start experiencing symptoms. As the CDC continues to learn how vaccines will affect the spread of COVID-19, the public is advised to continue to take precaution in public places even after getting vaccinated by wearing a mask, social distancing, avoiding crowds, and poorly ventilated spaces. The California Department of Public Health released the most recent guidelines this week, which includes the return of band, drumline, choir, and drama as they're considered low-contact youth recreational activities. This falls under the state's red tier in the Blueprint for a Safer Economy. Other sports like gymnastics, volleyball, lacrosse, badminton, and cheerleading also fall under these guidelines that are now allowed to return. Now, with any of these activities, the following precautions are strongly encouraged, including wearing face coverings, physical distancing, testing regularly, maintaining good hygiene and sanitation, limitations on mixing by participants, and limiting travel. The City of Torrance is offering spring classes now with limited capacity for dance, exercise, sports, and early childhood education, as well as spring camps. You can check online at torranceca.gov. As the county continues to announce more health orders allowing the reopening of sectors under the red state tier, the City of Torrance will soon welcome back the use of some of its beloved facilities at the Cultural Arts Center. In accordance with the county's health order protocols, the James Armstrong Theater will be allowed to resume film screenings with limited capacity, outdoor locations like the Torino and Entry Plazas, and indoor meeting spaces like the George Nakano Theater, Ken Miller Recreation Center, and the Toyota Meeting Hall will be able to resume cultural ceremonies and worship services with social distancing measures and safety modifications in place. Outdoor exercise and outdoor performances will also be allowed with advanced registration beginning April 1st. Classrooms will welcome back students indoors at 10% capacity for dance, recreation, and the auditorium. Be sure to tune in to Weekends in Torrance on Sunday at 2 p.m. to see all of the measures that staff have put into place at the Torrance Cultural Arts Center to ensure a safe return of visitors. Well, California continues to support its campaign to offer equitable vaccinations by adding more languages to their online tool. The state's public health department announced the MyTurn online website will now be offered in 12 languages. This is part of California's larger initiative to make vaccines accessible for all residents with a focus on those who've been hit the hardest by COVID-19. The myturn.ca.gov site, which was launched earlier this year after a short pilot in San Diego and Los Angeles, has been essential for streamlining COVID-19 vaccine appointments for residents across the states and notifying people when they are eligible. So far, 1.6 million appointments have been scheduled through the MyTurn website. The languages now available include English, Armenian, Japanese, Khmer, Punjabi, Russian, Chinese, Korean, Spanish, Tagalog, and Vietnamese. Now, for those who do not have access to the web, they can also call MyTurn's toll-free hotline at 1-833-422-4255, which is available 7 days a week. MyTurn operators can provide on-demand assistance in English and Spanish, as well as provide translators who can speak more than 250 languages. Federal health officials are raising concerns about the latest U.S. trial results of AstraZeneca's COVID-19 vaccine study. The Data and Safety Monitoring Board said in a statement that it was concerned that the UK drug maker may have provided an incomplete view of the efficacy data. The National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, which is led by Dr. Anthony Fauci, said in a statement that they urged the company to review the efficacy data and ensure the most accurate, up-to-date information is made public as quickly as possible. AstraZeneca announced just yesterday that advanced trial data from a U.S. study on its vaccine showed it was 79% effective at preventing COVID-19 symptoms and 100% effective at preventing hospitalizations. The study consisted of 30,000 volunteers, of which 20,000 were given the vaccine, while the remainder received a placebo. Torrance flags will be lowered to half-staff until Saturday, March 27th to honor the victims of the mass shooting in Boulder, Colorado. President Joe Biden ordered all flags to be flown at half-staff at the White House and all public buildings, grounds, military posts, and naval stations. On Monday, 10 people were killed in a Colorado grocery store. The 21-year-old gunman has been identified and is in custody. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said today the White House is considering taking executive actions on gun safety measures to address violence in communities. Parents across the U.S. are feeling conflicted as many schools begin to reopen and welcome back in-person learning. According to a new poll taken by the University of Chicago Harris School of Public Policy and the Associated Press Nork Center for Public Affairs Research, it was a mixed bag of emotions as nearly 64% said they are at least somewhat concerned that in-person instruction could lead to more people being infected. 69% of those parents also shared concerns that their children will face setbacks in school because of the pandemic. AP Nork also conducted a poll back in July which showed parents' concerns about their children falling behind were even stronger as the school year was abruptly halted and kids had to learn virtually. Now parents' concerns about the pandemic's impact go beyond academics. Many also expressed concerns of children falling behind, not just academically, but socially and within extracurricular activities, as most youth sports were shut down as well. And the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention released its latest guidelines of allowing children in the classroom at just 3 feet apart when masked instead of the 6 feet it originally laid out. Americans remain divided over what's needed for a safe reopening. Just under half of Americans polled said they think it's essential to limit class sizes. 62% said masks were important, and only 4 in 10 said they felt it was essential for teachers to be vaccinated before heading back to school. The AP NORC poll, including 1,076 adults, and was conducted between February 25th through March 1st. The second batch of stimulus checks are on their way. That's according to the Internal Revenue Service. Direct payments started processing last Friday and should arrive in bank accounts or mailboxes as early as tomorrow. The first 90 million payments were dispersed to eligible recipients earlier this month. While it's unknown how many payments are being processed this time around, IRS officials say the mailed payments will come as a prepaid debit card or sent as a check. The American Rescue Plan caps direct payments to individuals who make $80,000 or less, or $160,000 as a couple. Eligibility is based on 2020 tax returns unless they haven't been filed yet. Then it would be based on the taxpayer's 2019 returns. The Food and Drug Administration is warning the public about a brand of bottled water that may be linked to liver illness and hospitalization of children in Nevada. The alkaline water brand Real Water has been tied to an outbreak of non-viral hepatitis in the Southern Nevada Health District, and while the FDA says all 5 of the patients have recovered, which included infants and children, the common link was the Real Water brand, which was identified among all of the cases. The water company describes the Real Water brand as a premium drinking water with only purified water and potassium bicarbonate. The water goes through a 7-stage filtration process, including a 2-stage reverse osmosis ozone and UV light treatment. The company announced last week that they were taking proactive steps to stop selling and distributing Real Water products throughout the United States until the issue is resolved. The nation's top infectious disease expert will soon be on the cover of a children's book come this summer. Publishing company Simon & Schuster announced they will be releasing Dr. Fauci, How a Boy from Brooklyn Became America's Doctor. The 48-page hardcover book chronicles Dr. Fauci's life and career as the director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases and the leading health authority throughout the coronavirus pandemic. Fauci has worked under 7 presidents on HIV/AIDS and many other domestic and global health issues. The book also includes a full spread of facts about vaccines and how they work, as well as Dr. Fauci's own tips for future scientists. The book is due out on shelves on June 29th. The Torrance City Council will meet online tonight to discuss city business. On the agenda, items include a proclamation declaring April 4th through the 10th as National Library Week here in the city of Torrance. April will also be declared the DMV Donate Life California Month in the city, and a longtime city employee will be retiring after a 40-year career with the Torrance Police Department. Then the city manager will give updates to the city's COVID-19 response and recovery efforts. There are also a number of administrative matters that are scheduled for tonight's meeting. You can read the full agenda online now at torranceca.gov, and you can also tune in to the live meeting taking place beginning at 7 p.m. right here on our channel, online, and on the city's social media platforms. Well, before we go, at the end of each program, we like to share stories from our community, feel-good pictures, images, and videos that remind us of how resilient our community is and how Torrance truly cares. Our men and women in blue quickly took action after responding to a welfare check of a local elderly man living alone. After their visit, the Torrance police officers realized the older resident had early onset dementia and noticed he had little to no groceries in the house. They quickly acted and went to the nearest grocery store to pick up some necessities for the elderly man, contacted his daughter, as well as Adult Protective Services. Now, welfare checks are one of the countless services police officers perform to keep the community safe, but going above and beyond the call of duty, that's how Torrance police officers show they truly care for this community. We love hearing stories like this. Now, if you have a great one to share, upcoming event, a photo or video you'd like to tell us about, email us at covid19today@torranceca.gov. We'd love to hear from you. Well, that's our update for COVID-19 today. I hope you'll join us again tomorrow as I fill in for Christine Lee to bring you the latest. Be safe, stay healthy, and thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.